Trevor.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? Is this still not how not to do interviews, or are we going to be serious now? What's going on?
No, this is how I do interviews, which is why they suck. I'm horrible at interviewing people.
Okay.
Because I'm just me.
Would you like some tips?
Go right ahead.
No, I think you do really well, actually.
So, last time we met at NAMM, and you showed me your really cool semi-Floydy thing. I'm calling it...
That's okay. I'll forgive you. That's okay.
You had a semi. A semi-locking...
Yeah, I had this, didn't I, Henning? Shall I get it?
Yes, wait, here.
Shall I get it?
Let me get it for you.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. Yes, we had this, and at the time, I think we'd said that we were launching it, but now it's in full flight. It's been incredibly successful.
No, wait, if I throw that, it's in full flight.
It's full flight, yeah. Do you want to try?
This is
I've only
heavy.
got the one.
I can literally hurt people with this.
It's made out of real stuff.
Let me show it people again, because we have a camera that beautifully focuses, I hope. You got that? Yeah. So this is I'm going to call it, it's not vintage style, it's a double-edged thingy sword katana, no.
You could say it was kind of modern vintage.
It's a modern vintage, it's not a Floyd Rose. It doesn't require locking at the nut, but you can lock the strings right there, which means there is no string slippage here.
Correct.
Which will reduce tuning problems. So this is a in-between fully locking Floyd with locking nut and a vintage style individuals riders. Not a traditional Wilkinson tremolo.
Well, a traditional Wilkinson tremolo really, I guess, is always based around the traditional original vintage 1954 that was created. All I've ever tried to do is just try and improve that, but still keep the feel of it. Because the feel to a guitar player is very important. It really, really is. The way that they arm acts with it and that subtle vibrato effect. But what we really tried to do at first was get a good return to zero. And obviously that will help with tuning stability. And then after that, it's been a quest to get the perfect tuning stability in the simplest method possible. And I think this probably comes close now to being the last piece in the puzzle, if you like, to actually keeping a guy in tune that doesn't want to use all the wrenches and the clamps and all those things, which, fine, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted to do it another way.
I have my Floyd guitars, but realistically, I don't restring them as often as I should. They're not set up the way that they should be, and what happens, I don't play them as often. And that's kind of sad. So what happens, we made the video, and I was very impressed by the product, and I've got contacted just a couple of weeks ago by a Russian company, I think Thomann, amps, Thomann guitars, and they're like, well, we want to build your guitar, and how do you want it? I'm like, well, usually I don't give any directions to a luthier because they should build the guitar the way that they envision it. But they said, no, we want to do something, also learn from the process. I said, well, I like my GraphTech ratio locking tuners, that's my go-to, but there's this really cool bridge from Wilkinson, so let's not do a fixed tailpiece, let's not do a stop tail, let's go and use this.
Great.
And then I went online to send them a link, and I couldn't find it anywhere, because apparently, which is really ridiculous of you people, you're buying it in big numbers.
And we keep selling out of it. And we keep having to take it off Reverb because we've sold out, waiting for the next shipment to come in. Because if we haven't got it in stock, we can't put it on Reverb.
But it's also not on your website.
Well, in reality, we don't truly have a website at this point in time. It's being built at the moment. It'll be a website for information and all the things that you need on the website. But the way to buy it at the moment is to go on Wilkinson Direct, which is a Reverb shop.
I saw the Reverb shop and I looked at it, and now on Facebook I get lots of advertising for Wilkinson tremolos. But I was on some website that had a beautiful Kate logo. Who's Kate and why is there a logo for it?
This is the lovely Kate. This is KWE.
Hello, Kate.
Hi.
You have a beautiful logo.
Thank you very much.
I've never said that to a woman.
First for everything.
But so why can't I find that on that website?
The website is simply for KWE, which is Kate Wilkinson Enterprises, my business where I am brand ambassador for Wilkinson and all those products. So the Reverb site is where you'd be able to find all our products, purchase our products. And then, as Trev just mentioned before, there'll be that site coming up, which is going to be full of loads of information and interviews with Trev and lots of history and.
But you're working on that.
But we're working on that, yeah, really soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for now, to find out if this is available again, it'll be Reverb. Or I also couldn't find, I went to Thomann. And they don't really seem to stock an awful lot of Wilkinson products. There's like 2 tremolos, and I was like, I'm a little bit disappointed by that. So whose ass do we have to kick for that to happen?
Well, that's basically the product that's available in the market and has been available for a long, long time. What we're doing here is we're showing what we're calling our new R-Series products and the new Anniversary Series products. And these are actually improvements, if you like, on what's readily available from other suppliers. And this is exclusive to us.
Oh.
And that will be available on Reverb, and then eventually it will get through to the website. And these are aimed at the guitar player who truly wants to upgrade his instrument. I always feel that Wilkinson's tried to give quality at whatever price point it's done it at, and we've been quite successful at that. It's on a lot of guitars. But when somebody wants to upgrade, there's no point in buying virtually the same as what you've already got. There needs to be a worthwhile upgrade.
There needs to be a reason to do that.
Exactly. And so what we've done is we've looked at it, and with the R Series and the Anniversary Series celebrates many, many ideas, which are certainly not mainstream, but will answer a problem for many guitars of various styles. The R Series is where we've taken a bridge like this, for instance. Nobody's really done this. This is an R Series.
Whoa.
That's 2 pivot. You're referring to the Return to Zero on the 2 pivot systems, but this is now using the Wilkinson intonated Telecaster style saddles.
It's a Telecaster saddle tremolo.
But this does 2 things as well. It's a solid steel billet block, which the weight of it is quite, well, it's virtually
This is good, but I'm putting it back.
If you feel the weight of that.
Whoa.
Now
okay.
that is, CNC drilled billet steel. We use steel on some of our products, but it's powdered metal steel. And people seem to think that's not steel, but it is. But it's kind of like 98% solid because it has to have voids in it from the powder. This is totally solid, drilled CNC billet steel. The nice thing about this is what this does for you is you've got 2 options to string it. You can string it through the staggered block, which we spoke about before, and I think people need to know about the staggering and why it was there, which we'll probably do later. But you can also string it through the back, so that you can get a different sort of like tonality or a different feel. A string that hasn't quite got the same down pressure on it going into a block has a slinkier feel.
Yeah, of course.
You understand what I mean?
Because physics are real.
Correct, you're correct. So you can mix and match that now. You want a nice slinky high string or plain strings, then if you string them through the back, you will get that. It's a bit like when you overwrap a Les Paul tail.
Yes.
So you can put it through or you can put it over.
Right, yes. With 5
Five
yeses.
string guitar. That's
Five yes. What's the benefit of doing the Tele style riders there?
The one thing that I think people forget about a Telecaster bridge is just by its very nature from its first design, strings need to be able to transmit their energy to a guitar. We spoke about this before. Guitar sometimes is the poor relative of all the parts on a guitar, but it's the most important part because this is what couples the string to the guitar, and this is what creates the tonality of the instrument, the way the string can vibrate into the body of a guitar. A Telecaster saddle has always had 2 strings holding 1 saddle still.
But also when one string vibrates, it has to influence the other string.
It's actually, it can vibrate longer because the other string is actually holding the saddle down with it. If you expect a string to hold a saddle still and vibrate, you're going to be disappointed because you're going to rob it of energy.
Physics. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, okay, yes.
Yeah.
I know what I'm proud. I actually know what he's saying. Okay.
So a 6 saddle fully intonatable Tele bridge is a great concept for intonation, but is it the best solution to the sound transfer?
Probably not.
I tend to think not. So 2 strings holding 1 saddle still, I think will transfer energy better to the guitar.
That makes a lot of sense.
Does it?
Yeah, it actually really does.
I even believed it myself.
You just made that up. You just thought.
I don't think
you just
so,
thought some idiot would buy that. Oh, it's the Tele. This is a cool idea.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Now I want that on the guitar.
You want this as well, don't you?
And find out what that will do.
Okay.
Because,
well, as I said, you never know what the mailman brings. Our problem is the mailman's always come late and we've always sold out, so you never got it.
So the YouTubers always get late. And then you have, I mean, you've got all different varieties.
All kinds of different versions, yeah.
And then I just saw. Let me look at this. I just learned something about the.
Yeah.
See, I know nothing about guitar stuff.
No,
you know this, right? I mean,
whatever. If you say so, I believe you, but I don't believe you.
like if Phil McKnight was here, he's the sharpen. Phil McKnight.
Oh, Phil. Yeah, we know Phil. We know.
You know, sharpen my axe. Phil knows about all the parts. I literally just play these things.
I understand.
But ABM just had a very interesting graphic.
Okay.
About the you saw these bent steel
saddles.
Saddles from the side, and they showed a traditional one, and then what they're doing and how it's different. And how theirs is closer bent here, so the screw actually sits fully in the thread and also in the back. It was very interesting how stuff I've never thought about on these things. What these companies are thinking about. If we bend a little bit more here, we've got a little bit more stability and can get the screw down a little bit more. Is this how you think?
We've always done that. We've always done that because this is what I've always known about the original 54 bridge. If we go to our anniversary series, here's an absolute perfect replica of a 1954 bridge. And again, you'll see that those saddles, if you look inside those saddle holes, you will see threads on the inside of this bend, and you'll also see it on that. Mm-hmm. And that stops the screw from doing this. Mm-hmm. Again, if the string is vibrating and that screw is rattling, you're robbing it of energy.
Yep.
It's all about sustain, and sustain
is... You have that in the back there too, because the ABM also, it was more mashed together in the back.
Yeah, it can be closer. There's a strange phenomenon that happens sometimes where you want some things that are not vibrating under the string. There are other things that actually a string can actually increase down pressure on it if it's not restricted from being so.
You lost me. Just keep on talking. You lost me.
It's a bit complex, but I understand what they're saying, and I wouldn't say it was wrong. I would say, yeah, I understand it.
I like the graphic, and it actually really did something for me.
Oh yeah, no, and, they're doing it. They're doing it
when
right.
you develop these things, now let's really go there. When you develop this, do you lie in bed? You have an idea. Wait, if I bend this morning, put a thread there, and then you think about it, and you do it by testing it out? Like, how do you test what it actually will do to the vibration? Do you have testing equipment and stations where you see how long the string will ring? Or do you actually just build it, put it on a guitar, say, sounds good, doesn't sound good?
You basically prove the concept. And you can prove the concept by taking one and comparing it to another. It's very, very difficult for any guitar player, I believe, to carry a sound in his head.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think until you actually have one guitar next to another guitar and hear the difference between the two, it's very difficult to say one sounds better than the other or one sounds different from the other. Very difficult. So you need a side-by-side comparison. So I may build 5 or 6 prototypes. I may change metals. I may change many, many things. Heat treat, no heat treat, whatever. All those things. And then it really is a question of, does it sound good to me? Am I happy with that? Am I pleased with that? Am I really doing something to help the guitar player achieve what he's trying to achieve? That then will go to market.
Well, you're the authority on this stuff. Let's talk about what I'm seeing over there. Wait, this is here.
Okay.
And this went over here.
Yep.
Just making sure it's all correct.
Lovely. Okay.
I see guitar kits
Yes.
that carry your name.
Yes.
So tell me about these.
Okay. These came about with a consultancy that I'm doing with a factory in India. Mm-hmm. Now, not many people think there's a factory in India or know about a factory in India. But this factory's been going a long, long time. And it's a very successful factory. I was first introduced to it about 6 years ago when they came to NAMM show, and they literally gave me a neck like this. And they put it in my hand, and I looked at that, and I said, out of the Fender Custom Shop, that's probably the best neck I've ever seen for this style of guitar. Okay. And I said, this is a factory we need to use to make our guitars.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like some of those DIY kits.
No.
The frets, if I wanted to, I could, get them a little bit less sharp. I mean, the way the neck feels, that's not a cheap ass neck.
No, it's not, and it's built. And if you feel the weight of it, how light is that?
Yeah.
And the prime reason for that is this is a single vintage style truss rod. This is not a double expanded truss rod, or it's not a truss rod that's easy to make. It's not a truss rod that's easy to install. That's why it feels that way. And also, if you notice on the end of it here where this adjuster is. It's halfway into the rosewood, halfway into the maple. That's a very, very, very difficult thing to do. Very few people know how to do that, but this factory does. So the idea behind the kits is I think everybody would like to build a guitar. I think there's lots of kits out there. I'm not going to criticize those kits. What I am going to say is you could pay $200, you could pay $200 for a kit, you can put the guitar together. Invariably, and you've seen it on YouTube, people putting kits together, and then they've added another $500 or $600 worth of product to try and improve that guitar's sound. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is you're putting $500 or $600 into a guitar that is actually probably best described as a GLO, which is a guitar-like object.
Agreed. The really cheap kits, I see them as learning about what makes a guitar.
It's a learning.
But you don't end up with an actual really usable thing.
That really. So I thought, okay, let's do a kit. Let's use our expertise in making necks. Let's look at the bodies. Let's be very careful about our selection of alder. Let's do it center joint, 2-piece. It just shows we're paying attention to detail. And then all the parts that come with it will actually be the upgrade that you would have to buy if you weren't buying.
There'll be Wilkinson parts.
And there will be some parts. And also, so you've got Wilkinson vintage style Alnico 5 pickups, but we've got CTS pots and we've got a CRL switch.
There's nowhere to go from there.
There's nowhere to go from here. You don't need to, okay, let's be honest about it. If you wanted to put Lollas in there or you wanted to put Duncans in there, I'm not going to be offended. It's no problem.
That's fine.
That's your preference. Yeah. That's okay. But that's all you have to do. You've still got a guitar when you're finished. But why spend a lot of money on...
What's the price range on these kits?
This is going to be around about €450.
It's really not bad at all.
Thank you.
If I buy all these parts, I'm going to end up
nearly twice that. If you look at buying all these parts individually, you look at buying maybe a Warmouth neck or an all parts neck or Stu Mac neck or whatever it is, and then put it all together, you're going to have about $800 in this kit.
You have to know how to shape your own headstock because you don't want the paddle. Trust me, I've done a couple of these kits, and you come up with your own headstock design, and it's not pretty. So that's up to you then. But that's the thing. You can actually do whatever you want to do with it.
You can do whatever you want, and I've got trademarks. Major brands have got trademarks. If you want to buy a Fender. Don't make a Fender. Have a bit of individuality.
Let's do your own thing with it.
Do our own thing.
There's enough meat on it to do whatever you want.
Yeah, you could have it as a Big Mac Mull, which is one of your favourite guitars, isn't it?
That's true.
So you'll do that.
It's actually just
a Mac Mull.
It's a giant mull. That's what that is.
That's what it is.
Amit, go for that. It's a giant Mac mull. Amit's gonna hit me. That is actually very, very cool. So, are these available already?
They will be very shortly.
When they are, send one my way. There's going to be a very embarrassing video of me trying to put it together because I suck at this stuff.
Well, I put this together just prior to the show, and this is what we call our modding kit. So with this, you get high output single coils, humbucker, VS52K, locking tuners.
Nice.
And this is just under €500 to get all that. And now you've got Sizgy. Now, I put this kit together, it took me just over an hour. I never touched the frets, I never did anything. If you want me to hold your microphone, you can have a little bit of a try on that and tell me what you think about how it actually feels.
Is there any soldering?
There's soldering to the jack socket.
I could do that. Oh, and I like that.
Thank you.
I'll be right back. It's got the wussy strings on it, but apart from that, that's a very solid. I mean, everything feels very solid.
Good.
$500, not bad. And of course, you put your own spin on it, color-wise and all that.
Exactly.
If you know how to do it. I would probably just stain that.
I think a lot of people would stain it or oil it or something like that.
But other than that, if I tried to paint it, I'd mess it up. We'll swap again.
No problem. Thank you.
Well, yeah, people, you've heard it. This is. I'm sorry that Kate wasn't in more of the video because it would have been just much. I mean, no offense, but much.
None taken.
Not much better video actually. But how about the next one? It's just all going to be you. Okay?
You can do the painted bodies and the.
I'll do the painted bodies. Do a bit of slipstick.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do the
slipstick. I'm sorry, that just sounds naughty. Tell me about your slipstick.
Slipstick is a solid friction inhibitor. So it's something that you can just rub at the nut, on the saddles, wound strings, anywhere. Yeah, we'll stop there. Anywhere that friction is a problem.
You want to rub your slipstick on my nut?
Not necessarily
How?
yours.
How? Why?
This is why I don't do the interviews.
Where'd you find her?
She happens to be my daughter. I didn't find her.
So
She just appeared.
You made her?
I was half responsible.
Okay, so this
The
is
really cool thing about this is that it is a solid. So there's no mess to it. You're just going to put that right there at the nut, and you can just let it work its way into those grooves in the nut. It sticks to the string. It stays there. So there's that nice, smooth, fluid movement.
and it'll improve the tuning stability.
Improve your tuning stability. It's also great on open back tuners. It's nice and smooth. Again, just apply it. It's like a chapstick, like a lip balm.
Okay.
So it just literally rubs on.
Can I just use a regular chapstick?
No, probably not.
Because I have those.
And this isn't a chapstick, so please don't use this like a chapstick.
Damn it! Because you get me.
Sorry.
Thank you for the warning.
Yeah, and it's there too. So it's available in natural, which is great. It's safe on all finishes, cellulose, everything. We will be introducing a graphite as well, where it has a graphite infusion to it, which will be great for people who have the graphite nut, and that's kind of a specialist thing. We're finding people are using it in all kinds of ways, all different applications for it. So we love to hear all the new ways.
The one locks.
Yeah.
You put it on your Yale lock at home, and the door just closes so easy. It's a solid lubricant. It doesn't mess up carpet, doesn't hurt anything. But we decided to introduce.
It's not going to run off anywhere. It's just stays where you put it.
Slipstick. You've heard it here.
That's it.
Okay. And also, you can get the bodies and painted. There, video done.
There you go.
Right? I mean,
Done. Finished.
yeah, the bodies are finished. Get it?
Get it. Boom, boom. Yep.
Wow.
It's been a long day, and that's not a.
Two more to go.
It's too. Yeah.
The videos weren't good this morning, so I really don't have an excuse. They're always sucky. Thank you for being in this one.
You're very
It was a
welcome.
pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
He was also in it.
Yeah. So keep your eye on Wilkinson Direct.
What are you going to do? Thank you, Trevor. And thanks to Cheddar Kung Pao, much better channel than mine, for holding the camera, being tired. He's a sure trooper. And animals at the end.